Does the size of the tree affect its drying time? How's it going, everybody? Tucker here with Tucker's Timbers, back with another firewood informational video. Today, we're going to be discussing how the size and diameter of the tree actually affects how fast that firewood or unsplit log is going to season. All right, guys, got a few big things to discuss here today, relating to firewood drying and stuff like that. Don't know if you guys can hear, but behind you, it is storming really bad right now. So I took today to just get caught up on a few videos and stuff like that. So I think this is a really good video that a lot of people would be interested in. So I got 5 kind of main reasons for you guys, on why the size of the tree actually matters, when seasoning your wood. So and other factors too. But the first thing when talking about logs, so like picture a big oak log, right? I'll put a picture of a big oak log right here, right by me. When a wood is wider, especially like oak, it has a lot more surface area, right? And what I mean by surface area is just it's just bigger. I'll just put it that way. So therefore, water has a lot more room to stay inside of that piece of wood, and it has a lot more area, surface area, to escape out of. So if you think about it, if you have let's just say a 6-inch log, right? It's like this big, compared to a 36-inch log, that water only has to go 6 inches or 3 inches if it's in the middle, compared to 18 inches if it's in the middle of a 36. So that's a big, big, big factor. And we'll get to the wood species as well later in this video, so stay tuned. But that's one really big reason that log size affects dry time. 100% does. 100%. So the second reason, and this goes for split wood here, and this is what I go by. So smaller split pieces. This goes along with the surface area kind of rule. When you have a smaller split piece of firewood, it is a lot more, I don't know how to word this. It's just a lot easier to dry because it's split smaller. That water has a lot more surface area to escape because you split it smaller. If you have, let's say, I don't know how to put this. Let's say you have an overnighter, right? It's 8 inches wide. Okay, so you just cut around, and that's an overnighter. That's what a lot of people like to use, right? And old timers, overnighters. I'm very against that kind of mindset. But so say you have an 8 incher, right? And then you have a 4 incher. You've probably split that 4 incher 1 or 2 times. So that's 1 or 2 more sides that now that the water has to escape, because when you have a log, bark is all around it, right? And we'll get to bark in a second. Bark is really important when you're trying to dry firewood. So if you have a round and it's got bark all over, and you split it once down the middle and then another time on the side, if you take out this little triangle in the corner, you now have one side that's completely open and another side that's completely open, and just one side of bark. And then you can split that again. So split in size really matters, and that's why I like to split all my stuff extremely small. It increases my turnover down there in the wood yard. I'm able to sell a lot more, a lot faster when I split my wood smaller, because it dries a lot faster. This storm came out of nowhere. I have 4 full cords to go out this week. It's not helping this storm, but that's okay. Um, Very hectic past few days, so that's okay. Yeah, the next thing we're going to talk about is this bark, right? Um, if I can, and if you guys can, if you're running a firewood business, try to buy debarked logs. That's a really, really big thing that I think kind of nobody talks about. That I could do a video of debarked logs on its own, because if you have a debarked log and it's 6 inches, like my cherry, I buy debarked cherry for a really good price. That 10 to 15 log cords per load. Um, that stuff is dry when I split it. Debarked cherry is crazy. If you think about the bark, it's supposed to be protecting the wood, right? The stability of the tree. I'm no expert on it, but a stability of the tree, um, and the longevity of the wood that's inside of it. that bark is trying to protect, right? So it's trying to keep things inside, right? Not let anything in. So if you think about that with water, how's water going to get out? You know what I mean? So if you have a giant tree, just any tree, oak tree, whatever, if you have a giant tree, all of its bark still on there, that wood, especially if it's oak, I hate dealing with oak, to be honest. Hot take, but um, I just don't like to. I like to have a fast turnaround. But anyways, that wood is going to be so heavy and so dense with moisture. We'll get to the species in a second. That's our next topic. But it's so tough to dry that stuff. It takes, I wouldn't hesitate to say, 2 years. If you have a big oak tree and you split it down even small, like I split, it's going to take a long time if you truly have a monster of an oak tree. At that point, you're getting stick it in a kiln. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but it's tricky. It's tricky. If you're trying to get into the business, stay on the smaller side of logs. I'm going through my head right now. I'm thinking about good videos I'm gonna make. So I'm gonna make a video about that probably right after this. But yeah. So two more things. Kind of already talked about them. The wood species. So I'm not sure how to say it, but it's like the Janka hardness scale or Yanka, however you say that. But if you have a hardwood like an oak or a hickory are really high on the scale, it's called the hardness scale. Um, and that kind of reflects BTUs pretty similarly. The harder the wood is, the more BTUs typically. That's a good rule to go by. There's probably some exceptions. Like I said, I'm no expert, but like when you have, I think oak might be first or second, along with hickory in the state of Michigan. That's where I am right now. So I try to stay away from those woods, unless they've been cut for 2 years and they're somehow off the ground. You know what I mean? Because that's gonna take so long to dry, no matter how the thickness of the log is. But um, even more so when you do have a big log. You know what I mean? So it's tough. The species really does matter. If you got a 10-inch log of oak and a 10-inch log of cherry, that were cut the same exact day, that cherry is gonna be dry 20 months before that oak is. It's crazy, crazy, crazy difference. So the species really, really matters. And I'm gonna end on this point. I'm very passionate about this, guys. Everybody that says like overnighters are the way to go and stuff like that, um, I disagree with you because all right, I'm gonna sit up a little bit for this one because there's two big things. So one, that wood is going to take so much longer to season. Um, and two, it's just not convenient at all. I don't know why people think it's convenient. Um, I had a better phrase for that in my head, but I lost it. But anyways, so the first thing I said, longer to season. Yep. If you have, I sold wood to a guy when I was just starting out. I just resold it to him. So I bought it. I bought firewood, bigger split, and I just resold it. I made a really good profit. But that stuff wasn't dry, man. I mean, to the core, it's definitely not dry. You know what I mean? It's like that wood's gonna take 3 years to dry to the core, compared to if I split it 6 or 8 times, that'll cut the season time in half at least. I'm very confident in that. Um, and the convenience thing, I know I get that. Um, you can just put one piece in your stove for the night or whatever, call it good. But I've talked about this before. Wood is not rectangular or square or anything like that. It's a circle, right? But your burner is a rectangle or a square. So if you put a big circle in here, um, you're not going to fill it up as much as you could if you put a whole bunch of smaller pieces stacked up to fit the shape of your burner, your stove, whatever. And then in turn, since it's more occupied, it's more full. You don't need to restock it as much. And typically, when you get these bigger pieces, um, they can be dirtier and all this stuff, and they might have ants in them if you split them down again. It's like Why would you want to deal with any of that? You know what I mean? Why not know what you're getting with a smaller split and burn for longer? I mean, it's if you're heating your house with firewood, I think this is my opinion. You should appreciate um, the work that comes along with it. You should enjoy stocking your wood burner or your stove at night because you know you're gonna get all warm and whatnot. So I mean, instead of lugging one big piece into the living room and throwing it in there or wherever your burner or stove is, living room's more for a fireplace, I know, but instead of doing that, how about you take a bucket or something, fill it with really clean, good wood, and then stack it up real tight in your burner. I mean, seriously. And what I get, the benefit of me doing that, splitting smaller, and I do a little bit shorter. I typically do between 15 and 14 inches. That's what I aim for. Um, I've gotten pretty good about not even having to measure it. I can just cut with my chainsaw, and I know I've bucked up so many rounds that nothing's over 16. So the advantage I get with that is when I need to sell to a restaurant, I really don't have to pick through my firewood and find pieces that are good. You know what I mean? Because they're already smaller and a little bit shorter, which is what they ask for. Unless they ask for foot long pieces, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna need a little bit extra time and money to be able to do that for you. But yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna make a few more videos after this. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's getting cold. I'm getting excited. Gonna have this really big piece of equipment here soon. So you guys stay tuned. It's gonna be really, really, really good here. We're gonna up the production like crazy in the next 2 weeks. So I'm pumped to show you guys. Keeping it a secret, um, but I'm really excited to kind of unveil it and show you guys when the time comes. But for now, you got to deal with me and my little equipment still. So, anyways, have a great day, guys. Check out the other videos. I make a lot of informational videos. I'm probably gonna stick to doing a lot of that stuff. So I appreciate you guys. Hope you have a great night. Merch is available. It's really high quality stuff. It's all embroidered. Shirts are like 25 bucks. It's nothing crazy. So check that out if you guys ever need a good work shirt or a work hat or anything like that or a hoodie. But anyways, I really appreciate you guys sticking around, especially if you're listening to this right now at the end of the video. I appreciate you very much. Um, and yeah, I will catch you guys in the next video, live stream, or short. Hope you have a great night. Stay healthy. See you later.